Anthony clung to the buoy in the middle of the lake, his chest heaving as he struggled to steady his breath. His arms felt like lead, and the familiar flare of Lupus was tightening around his muscles like a vice. He hadn't realized how much the swim would take out of him when he promised Sapphire he'd go all the way out to the buoy. Now here he was, in the middle of the lake, surrounded by nothing but water and pain. He glanced back at the shore, where Sapphire stood, a tiny figure on the edge of the sand, watching him intently. Her voice rang out over the water, high and clear. "You got this, Daddy." His heart clenched. She was so full of confidence, believing in him completely. But Anthony wasn't sure if he had it in him. The pain was overwhelming, and the distance between the buoy and the shore seemed impossible to overcome. For a brief moment, he considered staying where he was, just holding on to the buoy until he could catch his breath. But then he saw Sapphire, standing alone on the shore, waiting for him. She trusted him to come back to her, to make it home safely. He couldn't let her down. Taking a deep breath, Anthony released his grip on the buoy. His body protested immediately, muscles cramping, pain shooting through his joints. But he pushed through it, forcing his arms to move, his legs to kick. The shore felt so far away, and every stroke was a battle. Halfway back, his strength started to falter. His muscles screamed in protest, and his lungs burned with every breath. But then, Sapphire's voice broke through his exhaustion. She was still there, cheering him on, her little voice full of hope. Anthony's heart surged with determination. He wasn't just swimming for himself, he was swimming for her. He couldn't give up now, not when Sapphire was counting on him. With every ounce of strength he had left, Anthony pushed forward. The shore came closer, the water around him growing shallower, and finally, his feet touched the sand beneath him. He staggered out of the water, his body trembling with exhaustion. But he had made it. Sapphire ran to him, her arms wrapping around his waist, her face beaming with pride. "You did it, Daddy. I knew you could." Anthony dropped to his knees, pulling her into a tight embrace, his body aching, but his heart full. He had made it back. He had fought through the pain and the weakness because his daughter needed him. In that moment, Anthony knew that no matter what challenges Lupus threw his way, no matter how hard the fight, he would always find his way back to Sapphire. She was his strength, his reason to keep going, and as long as she was there waiting for him, he would never stop fighting. They sat on the shore together, Sapphire nestled in his arms, and Anthony knew that he wasn't just a dad, he was her hero, and no amount of pain could ever take that away.